But you know, but these things, you see, I believe that the problems we have in our school system here is a really easy fix. I honestly believe that. It's the easiest fix. But do we truly want to fix it? That is the question. Do we truly want to fix it? No, I don't think there's any sinister plot by the South Orange Maplewood Board of Education to actually discriminate against kids of color. I don't think so. I really don't think there's any sinister plot. I really don't believe that. But I believe it's a system that has been inherited, and no one has taken the bull by the horn and said, you know what? We cannot continue to do business like this and expect to get different results. It's about time that we change the way we do things. Because you can't have a main portion of the school system being in a separate and unequal system. It's separate and unequal. Yes, it is. But I think the school system needed someone from the outside in order to come in and tell them, listen, you can't keep doing business this way. Because if you continue doing business this way, you're going to pay dearly. And that's why it took the ACLU. And at the end of the day, many people may not like Walter Fields, may say all different type of things about Walter Fields. However, the guy has had a significant impact on the education system in South Orange and Maplewood, because the South Orange Maplewood School District now have to go and look at the way they do things. They now have to evaluate. They have to come up with policies and procedures that they cannot continue to do business as usual. And sometimes it takes one person. Rosa Parks was only one person. One. Mahatma Gandhi was only one person. All it takes is one. You see, sometimes people think you need a whole bunch of people behind you in order to impact change. No, you don't. One person. And basically, Walter followed Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Education in this school system in the United States of America matters. And every creed and race should be finding an equal place in the education system of South Orange and Maplewood. And unfortunately, based on the complaint, it was not happening. So let me go over the complaint that's posted on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Soma Radio. The complaint, well, I already read that. Applying a disparate impact theory, this complaint seeks to vindicate the rights of all South Orange Maplewood School District students, including black and Hispanic students, students with disabilities, especially black students with disabilities, who are disproportionately harmed by out-of-school suspension policies and practices in the district. The complaint almost seeks to vindicate the rights of black and Hispanic regular education students harmed by racially disparate use of tracking and leveling by South Orange Maplewood School District, which refers to the sorting of students into different classrooms on the basis of the student's perceived ability or previous achievement. Tracking reinforces negative stereotypes, exposes children to different curriculums, and create a dual school system within the same building. Well, they were nice here, and they said dual school system. I have gone on record and said we have a segregated school system. Whereas that, if you go into Columbia High School, you can immediately tell the classes that are lower level classes and the classes that are level 4 and higher. This complaint asked the Department of Education Office for Civil Rights to investigate the South Orange Maplewood School District and encourage the district to adopt new policies and practices that use out-of-school suspension only as a last resource, if at all, to eliminate all vestiges of systematic tracking of regular education Black and Hispanic students into remedial and lower level courses of studies. I mean, the statistics are there to show you that when kids are tracked in the lower level, the possibilities of them succeeding in the future is very, very low. Because the standards in these lower level classes are very low. Simple. Now, here's the introduction and summary. Discipline claims regarding students of color and students with disabilities. South Orange Maplewood School District disproportionately suspend Black students, Hispanic students, and students with disabilities. For the 2011-2012 school year, data submitted to OCR and to the undersigned council via public record requests show that South Orange Maplewood School District suspended 14.7% of Black students, 6.5% of Hispanic students, and 2.7% of white students. When compared to the available statewide data on school suspension from 2009 to 2010, South Orange Maplewood School District Black-white percentage gap in suspension is substantially greater. Well, let me repeat that. South Orange Maplewood Black-white percentage point gap in suspension, which is 12, is substantially greater than the state average of 8.7%. Data on school suspension throughout the state of New Jersey in 2009 and 2010 indicates that 12% of Black students, 6.6% of Hispanic students, and 3.3% of white students were suspended statewide, exposing a significantly higher Black-white percentage gap in suspension in South Orange Maplewood School District. Furthermore, research suggests that the substantial racial disparities of the kind reflected in South Orange Maplewood data are not explained by more frequent or more serious misbehavior by students of color. The article goes on to say, in South Orange Maplewood School District, the disparity in suspension between students with disabilities and students without disabilities is even more pronounced. While the overall suspension rate for students with disabilities throughout the state of New Jersey is 10%, and the rate for all students without disabilities is 4%, in South Orange Maplewood School District, the suspension rate for students with disabilities was 21.3% versus an overall suspension rate of 9.8% among all students, and a 7.7% suspension rate for students without disabilities. In South Orange Maplewood School District, when race and disability overlap, suspension rates were even higher. More alarmingly, in South Orange Maplewood School District, high school suspension rate for Black students with disabilities was 30.6%. In contrast, for white high school students without disabilities, the suspension rate was a mere 2.4%. You know, it you know, sometimes you just, you know, you don't know what to say. You know, you're at a sort of a loss for words, you know. And they have certain footnotes here, you know, that tells you additional information. And it goes on to say, South Orange Maplewood School District high and disparate suspension rates, another result of written policies that intentionally discriminate against students of color or students with disabilities. In fact, this complaint does not allege intentional discrimination by anyone involved in the South Orange and Maplewood public schools. Rather, we concede that South Orange Maplewood policies are facially neutral and were likely written with the intention of ensuring a safe and orderly learning environment. And you see, it's the same thing that I said. I don't think that anyone in the school system is doing something intentionally. I don't want to think that we have those type of teachers in the South Orange Maplewood School District. I really and truly. But sometimes, you're trying to accomplish a certain goal, and you don't take certain things into account. You just do it, and you say, I got to do what I got to do. And that's it. It goes on to say, nonetheless, South Orange Maplewood School District suspension policies and practices are unnecessarily harsh and in some cases so vague, that discriminatory application of the rules against students with disabilities and students of color is very likely. For instance, in South Orange Maplewood School District, the maximum penalty of expulsion may be imposed for almost any code of conduct violation, and only a limited exception to the reporting and disciplinary action requirement may be provided when circumstances warrant it. On the Maplewood Middle School website, students award that per the district code of conduct, an administrator may assign severe consequences for certain violations, including suspension or expulsion from school. These violations include, among other things, roughhousing, refusing to follow a staff directive, and profanity. Furthermore, the failure to provide individualized, meaningful behavior-related services for students with disabilities may be contributing to the high suspension rate. The data shows that for both students of color and white students, being identified as a student with a disability increases the likelihood that the student will be suspended out of school rather than provided with additional behavior services to ensure success in school. So basically, what they're telling you, if you identify as a student with disability, there's a great possibility, very great possibility, you will be suspended from school. And it goes on and on. But these are all facts that been here for some times. But let's go to the claims regarding discriminatory tracking. South Orange Maplewood School District has a long history of tracking or leveling students. And despite attempts to address the racial disparity and achievement gap that result from this practice, continues to track students with discriminatory effect. Now, let's go. There's a footnote number 17. Contemporarily, parents of students of color have criticized South Orange Maplewood School District leveling program for years, as demonstrated by stories ran by national news sources such as National Public Radio and the New York Times. Despite this regular criticism, South Orange Maplewood School District has made minimal efforts to curb leveling due to the competing pressure from the parents of children in the highest academic levels. See, we have discussed this ad nauseum. Nonetheless, the district leveling program is extremely rigid and relies heavily on teachers' recommendation, which, as research and statistics discussed herein, indicate lead to racially disproportionate assignments. Now, this is a footnote. And this footnote tells the whole picture. Really. It tells the big, big picture. Despite regular criticism, South Orange Maplewood School District has made minimal efforts to curb leveling due to competing pressure from the parents of children in the highest academic level. So, I move here for diversity. Oh, listen, I want to live in a diverse community. I love South Orange and Maple because of the